One of my personal favorite comedy genres of all time, and one of the most interesting comedy genres, is a style of humor known as surreal humor or absurdist humor. Surreal humor is a form of humor predicated on deliberate violations of casual reasoning, producing events and behaviors that are obviously illogical. Constructions of surreal humor tend to involve bizarre juxtapositions, incongruity, non sequiturs, irrational or absurd situations, and expressions of nonsense. The humor arises from a subversion of audience expectations, so that amusement is founded on unpredictability, separate from a logical analysis of the situation. The humor derived gets its appeal from the ridiculousness and unlikeliness of the situation. As you can see, surreal humor is a style of humor in which it departs from the norm and allows the unconventional and experimental joke in which anything can happen, and it can get pretty full blown anarchistic with this style of humor, which is pretty much why I love this style of humor so much. To understand this kind of humor more, we must go through the origins and history of this unique style of humor. The very first record of surreal humor is found in children's stories from Lewis Carroll and Edward Lear in the late 19th century. Lewis Carroll's Alice Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, which both use illogic and absurdity. Example: hookah smoking caterpillars, croquet matches using live flamingos as mallets, and etc. for humorous effect. Many of Edward Lear's children's stories and poems contain nonsense are basically surreal in approach. Early into the 20th century, several avant-garde movements, including the Dadaist, Surrealists, and Futurists, began to argue for an art that was random, illogical, and jarring. The goals of these movements was some sense serious, and they were committed to undermining the solemnity and self-satisfaction of the contemporary artistic establishment. As a result, much of their art was intentionally amusing. Out of this movement, surreal humor came to be more prominent in the arts from being in children's stories to get into the public eye by having it in art, and also it became something else as well. Surreal humor became a style of humor used to point out what is wrong with the entertainment industry, society, the government, the world, all through an absurdly, humorously way. It became a comedy genre not only to rebel against the norm, it became a comedy genre to rebel against anything. Though surreal humor was mostly an underground comedy movement that was going on, and to an extent it still is in a way, there are a lot of very popular stand-up comedians have surreal humor mix in with their comedy, but these comedians often also have observational humor in their comedy that's quite prevalent in their stand-up that allows them to connect with their audience, with everybody, with the audience due to it being a relatable style of humor, but nonetheless, surreal humor would become a lot more known in the comedy world in the late 60s to the early to mid 70s from a certain British comedy troupe known as Monty Python. Monty Python paved the way for surreal humor to enter into the comedy world with their sketch show and their 3 movies. They completely changed how you could do comedy. All of a sudden, you didn't have to do jokes that people had to relate to. You could do jokes that were bizarre and as absurd as you wanted it to be. That they heavily influenced the animation renaissance of the 90s, in which a lot of animated shows that were comedies had transgressive absurdist humor in them. They even heavily influenced original programming for Adult Swim, and most of Adult Swim's original programming has transgressive, absurdist humor in them. Dozens and dozens of comedians were given an opportunity to do something completely different with comedy by making it go into the absurd and creative direction, thanks to the Pythons. If they were either influenced by them directly or indirectly. Currently, right now, in the internet culture, surreal humor influenced it, and I should say, not currently, right now, in the internet meme culture. That's what I was about to say, sorry about that. Surreal humor influenced it, and there's a lot of surreal humor and memes due to it. Surreal humor is not for everybody, but it is a genre that has a niche following to it that continues to make people laugh, inspire, and confuse people. Well, that's all I have to say about surreal humor. I hope you all enjoyed my video, and if you like this video, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share this video. Have a good day of whatever day you're watching this, and stay classy.